Okay, welcome back. From our previous video, you will recall that our natural fight or flight mode is a great mechanism for surviving saber-toothed tigers, but they're extinct, and we're now effectively at the top of the food chain with no natural predators to worry about. How is it possible that we still trigger a fight or flight mode or stress response today? Well, our brains are very wonderful and complicated, and over the years we've managed to replace real threats with perceived ones, and these perceived threats still manage to trigger our fight or flight mode. And I'm sure that you'll all be able to think of some examples of perceived threats in our world today that have replaced saber-toothed tigers. But these perceived threats still manage to trigger our stress response. Sadly, it can often be relatively insignificant things that trigger our stress response, none of which are actually more life-threatening than the threat of staying stressed over a long period of time. Stress triggers today could be any of the following: being worried about losing your job, being in a difficult or toxic relationship, the anxiety that we might have from an overload of having access to negative social media. There's literally so many different things that can switch our stress response on. And the key is to identify the signs that we are in when we're in fight or flight mode, and then know what to do to switch it off. So again, just a quick recap. We know why we get stressed, fight or flight mode. We all have different triggers today, now that there are no saber-toothed tigers to worry about. And we've replaced these real-life threats with fake ones. We know the physical symptoms of stress, and so we sense these. We know when we are in stress mode. So the next step has got to be to figure out what to do to manage stress and to switch off our fight or flight mode. So the top 5 things we can all do to switch off our fight or flight mode are as follows. Number 1, exercise. If we effectively exert ourselves in a very short space of time, we're reproducing the same effect of fighting or running, and we're telling our brains that we've completed the survival tasks it gave us to do. And in doing exercise, that reduces stress hormones and it stimulates the production of endorphins, which together help foster relaxation and thus switch off our fight or flight stress mode. The second point is diet. Certain foods produce chemicals that counteract the stress hormone, cortisol. A balanced diet can support a healthy immune system and the repair of damaged cells. It also provides the extra energy needed to cope with stressful events. And early research suggests that certain foods like polyunsaturated fats, including omega-3 fats and vegetables, may actually help to regulate cortisol levels. Third area is relaxation. And different forms of meditation are proven ways to naturally switch off your fight or flight mode. If, for example, you test your blood pressure when you're stressed, it will be higher than normal. If you then sit in a comfortable chair and relax, maybe listen to some calming music for 10 minutes and do some simple calming breathing techniques. After a short while, your blood pressure will drop back to normal. So this is a great way to manually switch off your fight or flight stress mode. Now, the fourth area is relationships. Whilst a poor relationship can trigger stress, the opposite effect happens when you're in the company of someone who makes you feel happy and positive. It could be a work colleague, a friend, a member of your family, or even watching someone who on television who makes you laugh and feel good. All of these activities can help you to reduce your stress levels and switch off your fight or flight mode. Finally, the fifth point, sleep. There is no better way to reduce your stress level than to have a good night's sleep. This may not be as easy as it sounds, as if you're suffering from high levels of stress, then sleep is not easy. However, it's often easier to sleep when you are both emotionally and physically tired, and so a combination of exercise and putting your brain to task through activities that make you think could help you as part of your daily routine: puzzles, reading, quizzes, etc. To finish this video today, here are some more tips on how best to manage stress. Avoid stressful situations. If you know a trigger for your stress occurs every time you do something, then if possible, find a way to eliminate the trigger. Avoid doing it if possible. Secondly, set realistic goals. Remember the old saying, it's better to under-promise and over-deliver rather than overpromise and underdeliver. Missing a deadline is often a stress trigger for people, and so if you want to get to the root cause of this one, then just be more realistic about setting the goals and the targets that you have in your life. The third area, manage how stress affects you. So often we create the stress in our minds by over dramatizing the importance of what just happened to trigger our stress. Okay, the next point is to change how you see the situation. Similar to my previous point, perspective stress triggers is very important. So if you set yourself an imaginary marker for an event in your life that you know would be very upsetting and traumatic should it happen, and then compare that event with what you are contending with or dealing with right now, then there is a perspective here that could help in situations where you're getting stressed over something a lot less significant in the bigger scheme of things. Next is to change how you react to stress. Now, the message here is simple. Now that you understand what stress is and why it happens, it's actually a lot easier to change the way you react to it when it switches on. The next point is to set priorities. And as mentioned previously, we often get stressed by poor time management. And part of the key to managing our time is to focus on the most important things and set these as the priority for things to get done. And if we get the big important stuff done, and on time, you'll be amazed at how many root cause stress triggers can be eliminated just by good time management. The next point is take control of the situation. So in simple terms, what we mean here is that you've got to own your own triggers and how to manage them. So it's really important to understand that you can manage your own stress if you believe in your own ability to do so. The next point is to discover new relaxation techniques. And there are so many ways to relax, and we know that this is a great and rewarding way to switch off your fight or flight mode. And so find your happy place and find some time for you every day to go there for at least 10 minutes, maybe 2 times a day, and then grow from there and build it into your regular routine. The next point is figure out what's most important to you. A great suggestion here is to think of a few things that you're very grateful for in your life and are very important to you, and keep these to hand as keys to contextualize the trivial things that happen that trigger your stress. So in the next video in this series, we'll take a look at the impacts that our diet has on stress and our stress levels, and what foods we should avoid versus foods that are helpful in our goals to manage our stress. See you in the next video.